Today we are going to discuss about the strategy development in international business. First of all, what is this business strategy? It's a set of competitive moves and actions that a business uses to attract customers, compete successfully, strengthening performance and achieve organization goals. In other words, we can say that these are steps or methods or plans chosen by the companies to achieve the organizational goals. We all know that all business organizations are existing for profit. So their ultimate aim is to increase the profit. So to achieve all these, the business will plan the business strategies. What is global strategy? It can be defined as those strategies developed to enable the organization to achieve its objective of international business. You can also say that it is one strategy that a company takes when it wants to compete and expand in the global market. These are strategies that an organization has developed to target the expansion beyond its borders, which means across the countries, to gain advantage or to develop the business across the countries. They will develop the global strategy. Why develop strategies? The reasons to develop strategies. First one is it is concerned with perceiving opportunities and threats and seizing initiatives to cope up with them, and to overcome the resistance and trade barriers, to ensure more efficient use of time, energy, resources, to ensure the growth of the firm. It is generally meant to cope with a competitive and complex setting, concerned with deployment of limited organizational resources in an optimal manner, to build relevant competitive advantages for the firm. So these are the reasons for developing the strategies by the company. The steps involved in strategic development. The first step is SWOT analysis. The comparison of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats is referred to as the SWOT analysis. In it, first one is strength. S stands for strength. It means it is the inherent capability of the organization which can use to gain the strategic advantage over its competitors. Next one is deciding to internationalize. After conducting SWOT analysis, and if the SWOT analysis is favorable to the company, and moreover, if the company has an exceptional trade opportunity, they will decide to enter into foreign market. For that purpose, they will assess the characteristics of the product line, price, behavior and preferences, etc. And the firm also will evaluate social, political, economic, legal and technical environments which are prevalent in the global market. And they will make necessary changes in their strategy to enhance its acceptability of the product. Then the market selection. And once company has decided to do business in international market, they have to select the market. So market selection plays an important role at international level, and the market will be selected based on the thorough evaluation of the different markets, based on certain criteria, the company's resources and objectives. And for this purpose, they will be conducting the environmental scan. Okay, this first start identifying its target customers. A company may select its target market on the basis of geographical proximity, market potential, as well as the market access. And they will check which market will be profitable for them by analyzing the trade preferential arrangements or the technical trade standards, etc., so that they can choose most suitable for them. In product selection means is a decision process in which the company selects one or few products for the purpose of conducting business. Some criteria should be considered while selecting products for export. which includes the first one is elasticity of supply, which means the supply base. The company should not face any supply constraints in exporting the product, which means the elasticity of supply should be considered, and they should not face any type of supply constraint in exporting the product either due to natural resource endowment or any other acquired skills and assets, etc. Along with the demand of the product in the international market, it is also very necessary to analyze its supply base in the domestic market. The hindrances to have a good supply base may be like a strike, power shortage, lockouts, transport problems, etc. So, supply of the raw materials and things should be ensured. The smooth conducting of exports. Next thing is the product should be in unit. Then only we are able to conduct our business smoothly. And the next one is the demand for the product in international market. Exporters should analyze the demand for the products in the overseas market. Then only they can select the proper product for the business, and such information can be gathered from monthly statistics of Foreign Trade of India, Export Promotion Council Bulletin, Export Import Times, etc. And next criteria is they should select products which face minimum import restrictions in overseas market. So, for ensuring the smooth conduct of business in the overseas market. Next one is selection of entry mode. The other responsibility of management is to decide the mode of entering the selected market. There are different modes of entry into foreign markets, which may include exporting directly, joint venturing, licensing agreement, franchising agreement, contract manufacturing, etc., or 100% ownership, etc. So they have to choose, the companies have to choose which type of mode of entry have to be considering, or while selecting the entry mode, we have to consider the government regulations, the competition, the level of risk, market growth, market size, etc. And we have to choose the entry mode which lower the cost of production. The next crucial stage is marketing strategy selection. And marketing strategy selection is classified into three: product strategy, pricing strategy, and distribution strategy. In case of product strategy, sometimes same product strategy will not be successful in all markets efficiently. So, by considering the local environment prevailed in each country, the company should modify the product strategy according to each market, according to the situations prevalent in each country. So sometimes they have to modify the product quality, size, shape, color, material, etc. to suit the overseas market. The next strategy is the pricing strategy. A company should decide whether it should charge the same price for all products in all markets or different prices in different markets. Then distribution strategy. Company should design distribution strategy in a way that its product reaches the consumer at the right place and right time with reasonable cost. And they should analyze about the risk, responsibilities, etc. involved in the distribution, and they also analyze the cost of distribution. By taking into consideration the cost of distribution, they should finalize the distribution strategy. The last one is international organization decision. The company has to decide the type of orientation that it should have to its international operations. It will depend upon the degree and the nature of involvement in international business. There are four types of orientations: ethnocentrism, polycentrism, regiocentrism, and geocentrism. These are the steps involved in strategy development. The next one is the global expansion plan. It is a formal plan to expand the business across the nation. It is intended to maintain an actual business presence in different nations. So just before we have seen that different criteria while entering in overseas markets such as the market selection, target market, product selection, the demand supply, etc. So these factors should be considered while developing an international expansion strategy. And the organization uses different plans, which means different entry modes, includes exporting goods, licensing, forming strategic partnerships, acquiring businesses, building new facilities in different countries, etc. It's a part of the global expansion plan. And the factors to be considered while global expansion are the legal presence, tax regulation, labor laws, social security, the compliance requirements, technical standards, the funding, the local operations, corporate accounting and tax applicable reporting frameworks, banking regulations, import or export procedures, immigration or work permit requirements, etc. All these should be considered. Then the value chain analysis. And value chain analysis was developed by the Michael Porter in the year 1985. Here the value means what? It means the margin or the total revenue to the company that the buyers are willing to pay for the firm's stock. And a value chain is a set of activities that a firm operating in a specific industry performs in order to deliver a valuable product for the market. It means the value chain includes set of activities that an organization undertakes to create value for its customers. And a firm's value chain must be compared to the competitor's value chain to determine whether there is any competitive advantage or not. So we are going to analyze the Porter's value chain analysis, and he describes the value chain as an internal processes or activities a company performs to design, produce, market, deliver and support its products. He further stated that a firm's value chain and the way it performs individual activities are a reflection of its history, its strategy, its approach of implementing its strategy, and the underlying economics of the activities themselves. Michael Porter classified the business activities into two, the primary activities as well as the support activities. The primary activities include inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing and sales and service, and support activities include procurement, technology development, human resource management, and firm infrastructure. Primary activities are those activities which are directly involved in transforming input into output and in delivery and after sales support, so that these activities have greater importance in any business. And it constitutes five main areas, that they are inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing and sales, and service. Inbound logistics includes all those activities or processes related to transportation, receiving, storing and distributing inputs within the company. So, suppliers relationship is very important concept here. Then the operations. Operations, which means transforming the input into the output. It includes the activities that transform the inputs into outputs which are sold to the customer. Bound logistics, it involves the process of storing, transporting and distributing goods to the customers. Marketing and sales includes identification of customer needs and generation of sales, and service includes the maintenance of the product after customer purchase the product. So the maintenance services includes in this. So these are the major primary activities involved in value chain. And the next, and the importance of primary activities are, these are necessary which are to transform the inputs into output. Then the support activities. Support activities are those activities which support the primary activity. It includes the procurement. Procurement means what? Means the purchasing of raw materials for the company. Then technology development. These activities are intended to improve the product as well as the process. And the human resource management involves hiring, recruiting, training, development and the compensation of the human resource in that firm. And the firm infrastructure, which involves the organization structure, control system, company culture, etc. So these are the support activities. Uses of value chain analysis. The competitive advantage sources can be identified and helps to examine systematically the activities of the firm, and it's a flexible strategic tool to diagnose and create competitive advantage on both cost and differentiation, which means there are two approaches to perform the value chain analysis, and it depends upon what type of competitive advantage a company wants to create, which means whether it is a cost advantage or the differentiation strategy. The cost advantage approach is adopted when organization wants to compete on cost and when they want to understand the sources of their cost advantage or disadvantage and what factors influence these costs. And in case of differentiation advantage, they adopt the differentiation advantage approach when the firms wants to create superior products or services using differentiation. So these are the two approaches to perform the value chain analysis. First one is the cost advantage as well as the differentiation advantage. And another use of value chain analysis is it helps to present opportunities for integration which can be adapted to any type of business. It helps to compare the business model with the competitor's business model. So these are the major uses of value chain analysis. Risk analysis. At first, what risk? Risk means it's an uncertain event which leads to some monetary loss. Actually, risk is not the uncertainty. We know the possible outcomes, but not which one will take place. We cannot predict which outcome will take place. So that's we are calling it as risk. So risk analysis means what? Risk analysis means the process of identifying and analyzing the potential issues that could impact our key business initiatives, etc., in order to help the organizations avoid or mitigate those risks. So that is the risk analysis, and risk analysis includes risk assessment, risk management, and the risk communication. Risk assessment helps to identify the sources of potential harm, assessing the chances that the harm will occur and the consequences if harm does occur, which means it helps to classify the risk into critical, important as well as unimportant. Also, it helps to analyze the impact, which means the possible losses that will occur in case of a certain event as well as the probability that that event will occur. Severity of risk can also be assessed here. So this is known as the risk assessment, assessing the or identifying the sources of potential harm. The next one is risk management, and the risk management evaluates the risk identified in the risk assessment process. Then risk communication. Risk communication means exchange of information, opinions, advices between experts such as risk assessors as well as risk managers and the stakeholders facing threats facing threats to their economic or social well-being. So the ultimate purpose of risk communication is to enable people at risk to take informed decisions to protect themselves. Risk analysis helps in determining the merits and demerits of entering into a particular country where business processes are being explored. By conducting risk analysis, we will be able to identify the country attractiveness. Country will be attractive only when the rate of return earned by investing in other country is equal to the weighted average cost of capital. So that which means the country for investing should get minimum the weighted average cost of capital. While calculating this, two things should be considered. The first one is there any competitive advantage which the business is likely to generate a return equal to or higher than the cost of capital? And the second question is there any risk and whether those risks are acceptable for the shareholders as well as employees. Types of risk in international trade. The first risk is the commercial risk. And the commercial risks are caused due to the following factors. They are lack of knowledge about foreign market, inadaptability of the export product, longer transit time, means the traveling time from port to port, and the varying situations to be handled not anticipated before export, which means unexpected situations have to be handled sometime. Then the property risks such as damage to buildings, infrastructure, etc., loss of business income, liability risks such as suits for defective products, etc., unsuitable strategy or procedure implementation. Most of the commercial risks are to be borne by the exporters. Exporters cannot shift these risks to the professional risk bearers paying insurance premiums. And the intense competition also influences the demand and supply conditions of a country, and the price realization of the product in export market will be influenced by the first one is the changes in exchange rate. The changes in exchange rate, the exchange rate fluctuation will affect the price fixation. Changes in import duties or tariff barriers, changes in transport costs, foreign market characteristics, etc. will also influence the price fixation. Commercial risk can be minimized only by using the forecasting techniques as well as by carefully watching the changing business conditions in the concerned country, the foreign country. Political risk. Political risk occur when there is change in political situations in the concerned import and exporting countries. The factors affecting are the changes in the party in power in the concerned countries, civil wars, rebellions and coups, capture of cargo by enemies during war. These are very unpredictable risks in international trade. These risks can be avoided by carefully selecting the countries to which goods are exported, and ECGC, which means the Export Credit Guarantee Corporation, also covers some of these risks. Then legal risk. This risk arising out of foreign laws because each country has its own laws and regulations. So such risks are known as legal risk. Cargo risk, which are also known as transit risk. These risks are associated with the cargo within the transportation, and it happens due to the physical damage to freight during transportation. Storms, leakage, explosion, fire, robbery, etc. may happen in transit. So to cover these, we should take such measures. Cargo insurance provides cover for goods in transit by sea, air, rail, or by post. Export or import shipments are covered against the risk of fire or explosion, theft, loss of package during unloading and loading, etc. And war strike risk can be added by providing extra premium. Then credit risk. Credit risk occurs when the importers are unable to make prompt payment. Sometimes the exporters may not have much information about the creditworthiness of importers, and importers promises to pay for goods shipped, but they are unable. The importers may unable to make prompt payment, and which causes the credit risk. Last risk is the foreign exchange fluctuations risk. CBA analysis, which means the cost benefit analysis. It's a technique which is used to evaluate a project or any activity in terms of the benefits and the cost of the project, which means it helps to measure the benefits as well as the cost associated with a particular activity or not. Based on that, we can decide whether we have to undertake that particular activity or project. If the benefits are greater than the cost of the project, then we can undertake that particular project, and vice versa. If costs are greater than benefits, it's not better for us to accept that particular project. Here, all costs and benefits are compared in monetary terms. The main purpose of the analysis is to obtain the relevant information about level and distribution of benefits and costs of the project. And the costs involved in CBA include direct costs, indirect costs. Direct costs includes the direct labor involved in manufacturing, inventory, raw materials, manufacturing, etc. Indirect costs include indirectly related to the particular activity or project, which includes electricity, overhead costs from management, rents, utilities, as well as intangible costs such as customer impact of pursuing a new business strategy, project, etc. Opportunity costs, which means the costs which are occurred when choosing a different alternative or buying a plant versus building one, etc. And the cost of potential risks such as regulatory risk, competition, etc. These risks are involved. These costs are involved in cost benefits analysis. So the cost involved in CBA means direct cost, indirect cost, intangible cost, opportunity cost, and the cost of potential risk. And the key cost benefit analysis indicates the net present value of benefits, and present value of cost. And how to calculate the benefit cost ratio? It can be calculated as PVB divided by PVC, which means present value of benefits divided by present value of cost, and the net benefit equal to present value of benefits minus present value of cost. And the benefits include revenue and sales increases from increased production, intangible benefits such as improved employee safety and morale, customer satisfaction, faster delivery, etc., and the competitive advantage. In short, we can say that cost benefit analysis helps to understand whether a particular project is acceptable or not.